From the News Channel 5 Network, this is QUE PASA Nashville.
Bienvenidos. Welcome to QUE PASA Nashville. My name is Cristina Allen, and thank you for joining us. I'm excited with my next guest, as she is a former Nashvilleian, Bianca Marroquin, and she is now playing the lead actress on the Broadway show Chicago, which is touring through Nashville. Thank you very much for being on the show. How exciting. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. Yes, 10 years ago, I visited Nashville, and I fell in love with it then. I'm so privileged to be back.
Oh, we're excited to have you back.
Thank you so much.
I understand what our mutual friend Ramon Cisneros, he's posted everything about how excited
I'm very grateful to him. Yes, thank you.
So tell me your journey as a lead actress in the touring Broadway show Chicago, playing Roxy Hart. I mean, that's huge, huge.
It is huge.
So how was your journey in acting? Because you're originally from Mexico. Where in Mexico?
Yes. I was born in Monterrey, Nuevo León, Mexico,
Okay.
but I was raised on the border between Matamoros, Tamaulipas, and Brownsville, Texas.
Yes, and
So
everyone knows where Brownsville, Texas is.
Yes, it's the most southern tip of Texas, right? Right there on the Gulf of Mexico. So I lived on the Mexican side in Matamoros, but I would cross the bridge every single morning to go to school on the other side. That was just lifestyle. It's normal.
Yeah, normal.
Yeah, and because my mom, Hispanic, but she was born in Texas, because of her, I was able to have the double nationality.
And my mother is from Mexico, and I was raised in Las Cruces, which is a border city about 45 minutes from Juarez, Texas. And I do have dual nationality. Very privileged to have that.
Very privileged. My mother used to always tell us that we were very privileged kids to grow up between two worlds, two traditions, two languages, two cultures. And then eventually, it's an amazing tool to have your English. Eventually in my life, I understood the privilege of that, and it came in handy.
And how did you understand the privilege? I mean, explain that.
Well, first of all I've known how to do is follow my dreams, my goals, and I was very lucky to know what I wanted to do since I was a little girl. I was 3 years old, and I discovered that I wanted to dance and be a professional dancer and be on stage, that was my place in this world. And it all became about that. When I sacrificed a lot of my life just to attend my classes and to train and to be the best I could.
Still in
Matamoros, still in Matamoros. And then when it came time to choose a college, I wanted to go to Spain to continue with my flamenco, which of all my dance disciplines, that was the discipline I was most passionate about. My father said, no. You go to Monterrey, like your brothers, and study and get a real degree. So I went to El Tecnológico de Monterrey, and I was studying communications because I said there was no dancing there. It was all technology. But I said, okay, then I'll study to be a journalist and write about those who can dance, because I can't dance.
Oh, you're so theatrical right now.
Yes, I'm Maria Felix. See? And then so I was there in college. But when I was in 5th semester, Beauty and the Beast, Disney came to Mexico to open one of the first Spanish-speaking productions.
Wow, I did not know they had it.
This was back in '97.
Okay.
And so a big company in Mexico called Ocesa Presenta, opened a new theater department in their big company, and they started a new era of musical theater in the country with this show. They went and auditioned people to Guadalajara and Monterrey, and that's where I was in college, right? So I go to the audition behind my parents' back. And in the end, I get it. I get my little spot in the ensemble. They needed dancers who could sing. At that point, my singing was not trained, but I had always had a good ear. I always played piano, guitar by ear, but my training was in my dancing.
So theoretically, Disney took saw the trends and the opportunity that Mexico and I know these answers, but I know Mexico is a vibrant, very affluent city. It has everything, the arts, the culture, and people don't realize that a touring Broadway show they go to it, they sell it out just like we would.
Definitely.
And to have it done in Spanish, wow. I mean, was the music like the traditional songs in English?
Exactly. It was no, everything in Spanish, everything the same. It's a franchise.
Okay.
What you saw on Broadway is exactly the same.
Wow.
Everything, costumes, scenery, music, it's the same exact thing, but in your language.
Wow.
In
That's
your
a
language.
huge risk of Disney, but obviously it paid off.
It was so magical. Everybody came from New York, the whole creative team from New York. They were all there. We had translators. It was 2 months of putting up this show. And once we were opened, they left a resident director, resident choreographer, resident to maintain the exact status of the show.
As a pool for other type of global shows? I mean, so like here you are in Mexico, that if they needed a Maria from West Side Story, they don't have to get, you know, they could pull from their different residencies. Is that kind of like what it was for?
Like in Mexico City from different, you mean?
When you said they left them there, what does that mean?
Oh no, so there could be somebody resident from Mexico. That would be, because they left, they went back to New York. They just came those 2 months to set up the show.
But
to
the people
supervise and make sure that it
wanted...
was exactly how, this is how we do it, and they had to follow, there's a contract involved. And then they leave, and then someone from Mexico City stayed as a director. That's why they called it the resident director, the resident choreographer, the resident. And they, every night, had to go into their computer and do a report, a show report, and send it to New York.
To see.
To tell them everything that was going on. Today was an amazing show. We had a standing ovation. We had someone sick, so this swing went on. So-and-so went on for the first time. He did great. Like that, everything that goes on in the show.
So with this production, what did that lead you to after they left?
Then I stayed in Mexico City, and the next show that I did, the next show that Ocesa brought also to Mexico was Rent. And I was a swing in Rent. To be a swing is to be like the soccer player that's seated on the bench waiting for somebody to get hurt, or somebody to get your 5 minutes on the field.
But you had patience to do that.
Yes, and being a swing is the most important element to a production, because you have to be on. The moment an emergency happens, somebody didn't make it to the show, was caught in traffic, or an accident, or somebody, something happened, sprained their ankle and had to leave the show, you go in, you fill that spot without the audience knowing that there's something different, there's something new, there's something. The show must be 100% quality every single night, and the swing, and that's the swings.
And so that gave you the opportunity to learn everyone's lines.
I learned so much,
and you're ready.
I learned so much. Then the third project I did was Phantom of the Opera. Also, and then the fourth one was Chicago. My first leading role.
Oh, that's exciting. Very exciting. In Mexico. Which is exciting.
And then the fun part starts.
So you go to New York, and
so after 6 months of doing Chicago and Mexico, I get the invitation from Broadway to cross over, to learn it in English, and come over to Broadway for 3 weeks. Just a short stint of 3 weeks. And that's where I made my Broadway debut, June 18th of 2002. And that's when I found out that it was not a success of mine, personal only, that this was much more than that. This was the success of not only my country, but all Hispanic community, you know, all Hispanic countries, that there was a Latina representing on Broadway.
And I know that's, to us as a Latina, we have a vision, and people can look up to that and understand as you go to different, on your tour, that we see someone like us. As I said earlier, I have a 12-year-old that just would love to be an actress, and I will expose her to you, because there are people that look like her, you know, so more so though. But okay, so you're doing this Broadway tour of Chicago, and how many cities is it, the tour?
Oh, so many cities. So many cities. We're touring from here to April, and it's not, I don't think it's even the end of it. They keep adding and adding. Listen, Chicago has been on Broadway for 18 years.
Right, and it won 7 Tony Awards. And I think it launched in its best revival musical. Is that what it is?
It is revival, because the first one was on the year 75 with Cheetah Rivera and Gwen Verdon, Joel Grey, James Naughton. It was, that's 96. 75, I started mixing up. Yes, Cheetah Rivera and Gwen Verdon. And James Naughton.
So obviously Cheetah Rivera, everyone knows.
Pardon, I mixed everything up. But yes, B.B. Newworth and Annie Rankin were in the new one in the 96. But Cheetah Rivera, I mean, and we still have her around, and she's legendary and iconic, and she's one of my role models.
Right, and she's still around, and she looks great, and she's and just not just a dancer, but even her films and so forth. So it's very exciting to have her as a role model.
Definitely.
So as you go on tour, and especially like in, I would say, the Southwest California, I don't know if you've toured there, you're going to be very normal, because there's a lot of Latinas that are in theater. But what about in the touring? In the theater in New York, do you have a lot of Hispanics? Or,
yes.
I mean, is it just normal?
And personally, Cristina, I'm also very lucky to have had, 4 or 5 years ago, I received the invitation to start doing television. And there was the Hispanic version of Dancing with the Stars, and they were going to, Univision was going to open this new show, and they invited me to be a judge. So I did 4 seasons in a row, 4 years in a row as a judge for Dancing with the Stars. I got exposure, got that platform. And then I did Bailando por un Sueño, and then I did Pequeños Gigantes, 2 seasons of that, and starred in my own soap.
So you are in Mexico and a big star, and you're now touring. Is it because you love theater?
Of course, theater and stage will always be in my life. And the other things are just blessings that I would love to try and do everything that life puts in my path, you know. But when you ask me if in New York, the Hispanics, and because of now that they know a little of me, now it permits me to invite them to theater. And now they come to see Chicago because they come see the judge or Angela in the novela. Or
And that is huge, that crossover. But we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and continue talking with Bianca, who's the lead actress in the Broadway show Chicago, originally from Mexico, but we're proud to have her here. So we'll be right back. Gracias.
And all that jazz, I'm gonna rouge my knees and roll my stockings down. And all that jazz,